There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite, yeah, when we unite, oh, we unite, yeah, yeah, when we unite, yeah, yeah. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here.
And we're here. Whoa, what is going on here? I have no idea. Lord. Good afternoon. Good evening, good night, good morning, and good day to you. It is weird. Thank you for tuning in wherever you are, on IG, on YouTube, on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in to yourself, because when you tune in, you get to listen. And when you listen, you make room to be transformed. I feel like I am doing a show today and I'm being held hostage by the heat, by technology, but I got to pretend everything is fine. I'm fine. Don't send no money. I'm good. There's no heat. Don't send the air conditioning. Trying to focus. I am Ade, your transformational beingness artist. That's right. Welcome to another episode of Being You. Ade Presents Being You, the journey back to yourself. This is season 3, episode 25. Today's Tuesday, June 20th. And the theme is Welcome to a New Earth. Sometimes you just got to take a breath, relax, and accept it all. So I'm going to be, I won't call it gross, but you're going to see me do this. See, in UK, air conditioning is not necessary most of the time. And ceiling fans are not necessary. But I don't know if this is called a heat wave, but it feels like a flipping heat wave. And I am sweating. And if I open the window, it's too noisy. So we come back to this moment. So many thoughts. As we embrace the heat, as I embrace the heat, because you're probably chilling where you are, right? Blessings KS. D is in the house. Monica is in the house. Michelle is in the house. Marion is in the house. Thank you all for being here. Well, Being You is an invitation. The show, the podcast is an invitation to have you take a look at how you see yourself, how you see the world, how you see yourself in the world, and how you see the world in you. Have you checked in lately to see where you are? You may have done it before, but have you done it lately? You may have done it this morning. Have you done it this afternoon to just see, to take a moment to sit with yourself and how do I see myself? Who am I? What am I? What am I capable of doing? What is holding me back? What are the things about myself that I don't want to look at? What are the things that make me uncomfortable? What do I judge about myself? How do I see the world? Am I crazy about all this going on? Am I crazy about the craziness that's going on in the world? You know, there's protests in South Africa. There's protests in Cuba, in Taiwan. This some things are not making it on TV. There are things that are going on in the UK that's kind of like subtle. Yeah. In America, subtle or not. I say subtle because we hear it so much that we almost develop whatever, that's always happening, whether through sports and racism. What's up, Zima? I miss you too. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, New Jays. There is a lot going on, and it's easy to kind of say, oh my God, this is really terrible times. And you can say that too. And you can say terrible times, and it's great times. You get to choose. So that you check to see how you're being in the world, how you see yourself in the world, how you see the world. How do you see yourself in the world? What role are you playing in this world that you see? The world of politics, the world of relationships, the world of spiritual community, the world of they don't believe in God, the world of whatever you want to call it. How do you see yourself in that world? And then how do you see all of that in yourself? Personally, I'm going to make a statement here. If you don't see yourself in all of that, then what? You ain't doing the work. Well, you're doing the work. Well, I don't get to tell you if you're doing the work or not. What I get to say is, what I know for sure is, we must get to a point where we make room for ourselves. I make room for myself in the world and recognize that I'm not separate from it. That you make room for yourself in the world because you're not separate from it. Now, depending on what your soul journey is, you may not get there and you might get there. And whether you get there or not, whether I get there or not, it's not really the point. It's really about how we're living right now. For me, I personally believe, hey, Raven, nice to see you. New Jason's in the house too. How are you living your life? That's what's important. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Being me, the great awakening. Being me, Ade, being me, you, being me, you, being me, us, US, all of us that are united in spirit. We want to invite you to like, join, share, and join us in the Facebook, the main one, Being You Podcast page. That's facebook.com, Being You Podcast. Like it, share the show. That's important. That's how you spread the words. And I think I'm going to try and lean back from this camera. Somebody's having a moment with that. I am too, but somebody else is like, ah. Oh, boy. Yeah, so go there. And we also invite you to, those of you who are listening on YouTube, whether you're listening live or the archive, we invite you to like it and share the show. And if you want to know how to get to the my page on YouTube, it is youtube.com/LC radio. That will take you straight to it. Quick announcements, libsyn.com. It's a podcast hosting site, libsyn.com. If you're looking to start a podcast, if you have one already or looking for another hosting site, check them out, libsyn.com. They have a lot. They're growing. They are trying to be the Amazon of podcast hosting site. Check it out. Check out the services. If you want to register, you get a deal. If you use my promotion code, ADE, that's all you put in there. ADE, Ade loves you so much. You just need to say my name, and I will always bless you. And so if you sign up today, the 20th, you will get the rest of this month free, and then the whole of August. If you're thinking to sign up, my suggestion is to wait till the 2nd of August. Don't sign up on the 1st. You can, but don't. Because if you do, you only get a few hours free for that month. But if you sign up on the 2nd, you get the whole of August free, August 2nd, or whatever month, 2nd of any month, you get that month free, and the 2nd month free. All you got to do is put my name. That's it. Just say how they sent you. They're like, okay, we got you. Wednesday evenings, Wednesday morning, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 2 a.m. UK time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern. Join Ricky Byers and myself for Soulful Feeling on Facebook and YouTube. You can find us on YouTube by going to youtube.com/Ricky Byers. Every Wednesday, join us. It's a sacred moment, conversations and songs. And I want to also invite you to sign up for my mailing list by going to lifecoachade.com, lifecoachade.com. One other thing, well, actually, there's two things. One is the show right now. I was thinking about coming back every week in September, but right now it's looking like it's going to be next year, January. We'll see. You'll find out. But up until then, is it the first and third Tuesdays of the month? First and third Tuesdays of the month. And what else do we have? So we have what we call an interplay called Intensive. And this is open for the BIPOC community. BIPOC, the Black, Indigenous, People of Color community. And if you want to find out more, go to bit.ly interplay wholeness. bit.ly/interplay wholeness. And the theme for this we're using, theme is tending the soil, embodying our wholeness. We are using Resma's book, which is My Grandmother's Hand. And I can jump up and go get the book, but I'm going to here it is. Oh yeah. So Resma Manikem. Yep. And the subtitle is Racialized Trauma and a Pathway to Mending Our Hearts and Bodies. If you don't have that book, if you've heard about it or think here, this is a good time to pick it up because it helps us not, I want to say digest. Digest is not the right word. We're trying to deal with racism and structural racism, institutional racism, oppression from a head point of view. That's part of it, but it lives in the body. And the book is written for people to really get in touch with their body. What happens for you when you hear racism? What happens for you when you see injustice? What happens in your body? And how do you access that? How do you make space for things that's been passed down to you that is not really yours, but is yours by birthright? And so we're doing a retreat on Tensive, it's called. It's open to people who've done interplay before. And even if you have never done interplay before, there's 4 of us that are facilitating it. And we're taking you through a process to get in touch with your body and remember that you are so much more powerful than the BS that's going on in the world. And when you connect with your power, when you connect with yourself, you take the BS and turn it into manure and you use it to grow yourself. And you don't even have to waste time focusing or fighting the things that you don't like. Because when you get your shit together, you shift, and your shift raises your vibration, and your vibration changes everything. Your vibration changes everything. Your vibration changes everything. When we talk about vibration, it's not a heady stuff. It's a state of mind, it's a state of being. It's a presence. It's an energy that you bring to a space. Sometimes you see some people that show up in a room, they show up at wherever. I don't know, I'm thinking market. I went to the city today, there's a marketplace. Maybe someone just comes in, their presence makes you go, ooh, don't mess with that person. Sometimes maybe they're glowing and you want to know more about them. Sometimes it's like, ooh, I don't know, something's going on with them. Let me stay away from. It's still the presence. It's still the presence. Don't underestimate your presence, your vibration, your energy. You can change it up. And when you show up grounded in who you are, it's a whole different conversation. And also, when you find yourself joining with the same narrative over and over and over and over and over and over, and you keep saying, but that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. What do? You strengthen that same thing that you're fed up of. I'm not talking about turning a blind eye to it. I'm talking about rising above so you can change it, so you can heal it, so you can be different about it, so you can create a different reality. We've been fooled to think if we keep talking about it. Some people need to talk about it. That's their work. If you're one of those people that feel like you need to talk about the things that you don't like, whether that's injustice, whatever it is, sexism, gender bias, whatever it is, if that's your work to do it, I also encourage you to take care of yourself, take care of your vibration, and be willing to lift people up, which is a good segue to talk about something that happened. I'm kind of shifting how I wanted to do the show, but I'm going to, that's what I do when I come here, I listen. A friend of mine reached out to me to do a workshop, and she talked about, so the workshop is around shadow work. So in the conversation, she said, I came up in a conversation, but when she thought about it, because she was meditating and I showed up as the person to reach out to, she's like, well, I don't know. Ade's not really into shadow work, but she followed the guidance. And when she left the message and I heard it, I'm like, what? What? What do you think I do? That's it. I love being able to go in the dirt. I love being able to go into those deep, dark places with people, with clients on the show. But I won't say what I don't do. What I won't waste my energy doing is keep talking about how bad it is, how painful it is, the struggle that we're going through. So I can see why people think, oh, he's just talking about, what's that phrase? butterflies and unicorns or whatever. He's always just talking about love one another and be the light. But there's some real shit that needs to be done here. Yes. You can't get the shit done if you don't love yourself. I'm talking about matured love. The kind of love that infuses you when you want to give up. The love that tells you this is not the time to give up. The love that leads you to just what you need when you have questions. The love that inspires you when you're saying, I don't know what else to do. I want to help. I want to make a difference. But I don't know if I have what it takes. The love that is active. It's action. It's not passive. It's not just, oh, I love you. Love and light. Peace and blessings. I'm a light worker, so I don't deal with negativity. What? If you don't deal with negativity, you don't need to be a light worker. We don't need the light if there's no darkness. By the mere fact of you saying you're a light worker, you're saying you specialize in tapping into the dark. Yes, there's darkness, as in what, as a society, we say evil, because that's what we do. But don't forget, everything comes from the dark. Everything is birthed from that place that we call darkness. How we use the vibration of darkness makes a difference. Especially when we forget who we are. When we think we're separate from another. When we feel we're separate from God, even though we're affirming and we think, okay, God, if you have some time, can you answer my prayer? This is a constant process for me. At times I live from a place knowing that I am one with the one that, my thoughts are created. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I may not use the word victim, but I carry myself. I carry myself as if I'm a victim. I do it. But in this human body, it is all part of the process. There is nobody here who's going to tell you, oh, I have levitated. I have ascended. So I don't deal with human egotistical shit anymore because I'm beyond that. I'm so beyond it. I don't even poop. I don't eat. But I'm still in my body. What you doing in the body then? Leave the body. Get out. If you know anybody like that, send them my way. And I'll tell them you're just chatting crap. Literally. You chatting crap or you're doing or you're I'm going to leave that alone. Yes, I know, right? Thank you. It's just one of those things. I don't know what's going on. I appreciate that. Thank you, Satima. And yeah, shout out to Satima. Shout out to Satima because she keeps me focused. Thank you very much. She sent me a message, but I'm not going to read that out loud. Marcia, nice to see. Is it Marcia or Marcia? Depends on where you're from in the world. And for those of you who are just tuning in, it is hot in UK. It's about 80. If you're in America, it's about 80. I think about 82. Last time I checked, 82, probably 84 now. If you're in UK, probably about 29 centigrades. 29, 27, 29, something like that. It's flipping hot. Okay. So today's conversation title is Being Me, the Great Awakening. The theme for this month is Welcome to a New Earth. Welcome to a New Earth. And Eckhart Tolle wrote a book. I think it was published. I saw that it was published in 2005. And him and Oprah did something that was never done before, that is now being done now, as if it's the it's the new thing. They had this global class. I remember that. I remember where I was. I remember I was living. It was like, it felt strange. It felt really strange. So before I'm going to, let me see what Raven said in chat room. Darkness gets confused as being synonymous with evil. Darkness is a part of life and not to be feared. Indeed. is not to be feared, and we do. And evil itself is not to be feared. Oh, my goodness. Evil itself is not to be feared. When we fear evil, yeah, I am sweating. When we fear evil, guess what we're doing? We're giving it power. We're giving it power. We are actually saying it has more power over us. When we label somebody to be evil, we're saying they have more power over us. And the minute you say something else or someone else has more power over you, you have relinquished your power. You've released your power to create, to recreate, to choose what you want. For those of you who listen to Abraham Hicks, I've been listening to Abraham Hicks for years now. And sometimes I kind of go off. It just kind of happens that I don't listen. And I'm sort of back into listening again. And their theories, their ideas, like, you are creating everything. You are creating everything. And I'm like, I'm creating everything. And lately, I am in a place where I really just want to get it. I want to get it, not because I'm trying to be ahead in a class, but to understand this thing called life for me as I navigate it. The Eckhart Tolle's book, it's called A New Earth. What is it? Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. When he wrote that book after spending some time being in silence. And then he was led to move to America. He first went to Canada and then moved to America. And then one day he sat down and a book was pouring through him. I'm talking about being me, being you, being me. Being me, as in you, and being me. Because when we give ourselves permission to really be who we are, that's the Great Awakening. There are those who would say this is the Great Awakening. I believe it. So the book talks about waking up to your life's purpose, being in stillness, recognizing this now, that this now is pregnant. When we make time and space for now, and we listen, I'm laughing because something crazy came up and I think I'm supposed to share it. I don't know yet. You will have a different experience. I'm laughing because the experience is it's not crazy, but saying it out loud and some of you think it's crazy. But I know I'm crazy, but I don't know if I want to be all that crazy, but maybe I don't care because it's about being me, right? When you allow yourself to be still, to just listen, you're just quiet, you will recognize your power. You will just know, you will feel something. And your intellectual mind may have some struggle trying to label and say what it is. But the whole thing about getting still, being in silence, is to drop beyond that. You're still present. So yesterday, I didn't think I was going to share this, but it's coming up to share because we're talking about being me and some of my practices, So I was having my ceremonial cacao yesterday. I was having a real good time, real chilled. I love nature, but there are some bugs that I can't stand. Mosquitoes and flies. Mosquitoes, I always tell them, going out. Spiders, I will help out, like grab them and throw them out. No, I lied. Mosquitoes, flies, and roaches. Not that I have roaches, but I've had roaches. When I was in Nigeria, I had roaches. When I was living in Atlanta, there was a place that were roaches. I was like, no. It's not even non-negotiable. I don't even talk to roaches like, get out. I'm going to help you out. Happy birthday. Birth to the new realm. Flies, I'm like, open the window, go on. Anyway, so I was sitting down there having my cacao, having my ceremony and listening and just being quiet. Just having a great experience and listening to spirit. And I saw the fly and I'm like, get out. I'm like, okay, that's kind of contradictory. You're in this place where you're listening to the divine, right? And you see a fly, an expression of the divine, get out. I can't stay. It's like, wait, what's really going on here? So I know, crazy. It's like people run into for a yoga session, but they're stepping all over the plants, all over the flowers, because they want to be there in front. Like, I'm going to yoga session, and stepping and cussing people out. Like, get out of the way, I'm late for yoga session. It's like, that's kind of oxymoronic. Anyway, so I sat down there. In short, I won't give you the whole story. I was talking to the fly. Now, I wasn't kind of like, so tell me what you have for me. I mean, if I did that too, that's fine. But I really was just telepathically asking the fly. This sounds crazy saying out loud. Spirit be putting you out there, or me out there. But what I will say to you, beyond the feeling crazy or whatever it is, what I heard was shifting, mind shifting. It brought in some new perspectives. And the fly that was moving around and doing all sorts, and we were having our conversation, call me crazy, whatever, stayed and stopped flying all over the place. And it just stayed in the same place and didn't move. And we had a beautiful conversation. And it shifted the part of me that feels like when I see a fly, it's like, ugh. And most of the reason why I feel like about flies, I remember in secondary school. Was it secondary school or when I came back here to UK and was doing biology? And we were learning about flies and where they get their food from and how they're getting all kind of crap. And the crap is on their hairs, on their body. So I'm like, don't bring that over here. And friends who know me, who are close to me, know I have a little bit of OCD when it comes to cleanliness. So no. But yesterday was a day for me to kind of challenge some of the things that I've been holding to be true, as if that's just the way it is. And then sitting down and having that conversation, I had a different experience. Now, I haven't seen any of the flies since, but I don't know how it would be. But I reckon that my experience, my attitude, my thoughts about flies has shifted because I decided to be with it. I mean, think about it. Bugs, all kind of bugs, roaches included. Yeah, anyway, the life force that is organizing your essence, your existence, exists in them. The life of God is moving in the bugs, in animals, in nature, in trees. The things that we don't like, the person that you call evil, the political leader that you can't stand, the guy, the husband, the boyfriend who betrayed you, the woman who betrayed you, your side chick who got pregnant but didn't tell you, whatever the case may be. The life of God is expressing through each and one of them. And in fact, each and every one of them, we are the physical representation of that thing called God, that life called God. God is life. God is the presence. It is your presence. It's your pre-essence, the essence of yourself before you became a physical body. So when you take moments to just get quiet, to listen, you recognize your power and you can choose where you want to place your thoughts. I said earlier that, you're not going to have me spend a whole show talk about a problem in the world. I'll talk about it. And then I'm going to point us in a direction of how it could be different. And, I was talking to Satima yesterday when we were producing the show. It's like, I've shared some of my stories in the past, but I'm not going to keep talking about it because I don't have an interest. Now, if it comes up to share, I certainly will. And I have. I'm not just going to talk about when I was homeless and lived in a car for many months because I'm trying to let people know I've suffered. So trust me, I've suffered. We are all suffering. I've been put out of apartments in America. One time I didn't get put out. I had to go to court, but I took my stuff out. Another time, literally got put out. Came back and all my stuff. For those of you, it doesn't happen in every part of America, but there's some places where if you don't pay your rent, that's why I was put out. If you don't pay your rent, the apartment office, leasing office, they have the right. Well, now let me say it this way. I had a roommate and they gave us a notification to come to court. That's where you can go and say, well, I didn't pay my rent because the leasing office, they didn't do what they're supposed to do. You can make up whatever stories and you may be able to get away with it or not. You may be able to say, listen, things have just been challenging. You can work something out. My roommate then, I moved in with her. So my name wasn't on the lease. So I didn't feel like I had the power. I didn't think I had the power. So she said, I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to work itself out. But I wanted to do something about it. But I felt like I didn't have the power. So I was going along. I gave my power away. So I gave my power away and I had to deal with the consequences. We came back one day and I saw some things in the front of the apartment building. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, please, God, don't let that be my stuff. I was like, please don't let it be my stuff. As we drove close, I was like, oh, shit, it's my stuff. And I saw some guys going in there taking, you just don't even know what that's like, unless you've been through it. Some guys taking some of my things, standing, looking, and you're like, and I had some things that were valuable, including books. Books are very valuable, but I had jewelry for my, just a lot of different things. And that night, I didn't even know where I was going to stay. I mean, those were times when things were hard. There are many things that has happened to me, to you, to us. Most of you who've been listening for at least 2-3 years now know about when I was in the government retreat, detention center. I just knew that, okay, I got stopped by Border Patrol. Yep, I don't have my green card yet. And this is going to be messy. But I probably won't make it to San Francisco. But I know that I'll be heading back to Atlanta. What a bummer. In the next few hours, going to make some calls. I'm going to and I did when I was able to. I was like, oh, man, I was so looking forward to going to San Francisco for the first time. Oh, well, I'm going back to Atlanta. I have to go to the immigration court and plead my case, explain why I don't have my green card yet, and blah, 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 blah. Well, life said, not so fast, brother man. You got some things to learn. 40 days in a detention center. Those are just some of the things that I mentioned before, and I'm just kind of highlighting that. There are things that had happened that just really, I could say wasn't my fault. Am I willing to say I created that? Now, this whole thing about you create your reality, that we have power to create our reality, sometimes we make it be a conscious thing, but it's on a soul level. Sometimes it's the thoughts that we're thinking. If you're fearful about something or someone, if you're fearful about your life, about the life you're living, the more you focus on it, the more you create it. You're energizing whatever you think about with your thoughts. I had a demonstration yesterday and I was sort of mad at myself, but it was also funny. So the other part of the cacao story is I had a lot, but I didn't finish it. It was just a little bit left and it was kind of cold. So I was thinking I'll add some more hot water to it or maybe just warm it up just a little bit. So I was sitting on my bed and I had a chair. So I put the mug underneath the chair because I didn't want to knock it over. So as I put it there, I said, oh, I don't want to knock it over. Let me put it there. I'm looking at somebody's name on IG. So I put it on there. I said, oh, I'll be all right. I remember thinking, don't knock that over. And I was talking to myself as we do. There's a voice in your own head that talks to itself. Don't knock that over. No, I won't. 45 minutes later, I was doing something. I moved the chair. I heard the spoon hit the mug. I was like, shit. I knew exactly what happened. I laughed because I recognized that is the power of manifestation. I thought it. I thought it. Now you can say, well, you didn't think about it consciously, or it was a warning, but then you also thought that you won't knock it over. But that first thought is don't knock it over. I could have moved it and put it somewhere else, but no, I wasn't going to listen. Now, thankfully, I was able to clean it and it didn't leave hardly any stain. The things that we think about that we don't put a lot of energy into, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool? It would be nice to go to a Turkish restaurant. Or maybe you're driving, you see a Turkish restaurant and you see people like, oh, it'd be good to go in there. You don't think anything about it. One day a friend calls, a few days later, really. Well, what you doing? You want to go out? Let's go to a Turkish restaurant. A friend of mine told me, like, I was just thinking about that. You know, thoughts that you don't put a lot of thought in, they just kind of show up. But the ones where you really want something, I want to be in a relationship, I need a new house, I need a new car, I need a new job. Oh, why is it not happening? I'm affirming it, I'm visioning it. It takes forever. Once you think the thought, life says yes. Life says yes. And when life says yes, and you keep going back and checking to see if life got your order, like when you go to speaking of a restaurant, when you go to a restaurant, when you place your order, you order and let the host, waiter, go take care of it. If you keep going back, did you get my order? How long is it going to be? Please don't put onions in it. My friends know I don't like mushrooms. And you keep going back, you're never going to eat until later. Probably they'll close by the time they bring you food because you keep going back. You keep going back. But if you put the order out there, this is what I want. By number 2, number 3, the appetizer, main course, whatever, and put it out there. So your thoughts, every day we're thinking thoughts. Every thought is creating at some level. Now, whether what you create is good or bad, it's really not that important. It's what do you do with the manifestation that you now have in front of you? Do you judge yourself for your creation? Do you judge yourself from thinking that thought? What if you just allow yourself to accept, I created this. I created this. I ain't mad at nobody. I mean, I could be mad at myself, but why? The minute you judge your creation, and your creation could be something that you like or something that you don't like, the minute you judge your creation, you're judging yourself. Hey, Gina, how are you doing, my dear sister? Nice to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Think about that for a minute. Any and everything that you've created, whether it is good or bad, or it's a mistake, it was an error, the minute you judge it, you're judging yourself, you're judging your power. And when I'm saying judging, you're making it wrong. So I'm not going to judge the fact that I'm sweating and keep wiping myself like I'm in a ring with somebody. I'm kind of tempted. Oh my God. Experiment. So being you, it's about looking at what you went through, the pain, the struggles. Even if the pain, the struggles, and the heartbreak that you went through was caused by somebody else, and you're finding it hard to accept that you did it, that you created that, and you said, I can't buy it. You don't have to buy it. You just got to set yourself free. So if you want to say the reason this happened is because someone else did it, okay, great. However, do not waste your time judging them, criticizing them, because the minute you do that, you're sending the thought out. You are the thinker thinking the thought that creates the thing. So you may not be, going by your own logic, you may not be the one who created the thing that caused your life to turn upside down, that ruined your life financially, emotionally, whatever it is. But the minute you keep judging and keep just focusing too much of your attention, any of your attention really, on the person or the thing that caused you the pain, you're energizing the same thing you say you don't want. You're giving it life. You're breathing into it. So there are many ways that we talk about shadow work. And we make shadow work be this heavy thing. Oh, you got to do your shadow work. Oh, it's messy. Yeah, it's messy. It is messy. But shadow work is a self-love work. Because part of what you're dealing with was passed on to you from your ancestors. Part of what is showing up in your world that you're trying to figure out was passed on to you. Cell memory, ancestral connection. Do yourself a favor and not call it good or bad. You can call it what you want. Don't have to listen to me. But you can call it an opportunity to grow. If it's in your life, it is for your liberation. If you're experiencing it, it can bring you to a place where you understand what it means to be you, be me. And especially the things that scare the mess out of you. The things that scare the mess out of you are trying to bring you a message. When you accept the message that the mess brought you, you can be the messenger of transformation, the messenger of love, the messenger of truth. And I'm not even talking about a messenger for others. I'm talking about a messenger for yourself. So when I remember that, yes, I've been through some. I've been in a relationship where, we're not even going to talk about that. It was like 3 months. That relationship, I got into it, and 3 weeks or so into that relationship, I'm like, oh, what the flip did I do? This is not going to end well. It didn't. I mean, that woman, I can definitely credit her. My birthdays are usually, I don't think too much about my birthdays. At one point, I wasn't really celebrating my birthday. Oh, it's my birthday. What you going to do? I don't know, nothing. But I've started to celebrate a little bit more. But that birthday, I think it was 2015, was the worst birthday ever. Now, it could be the best birthday ever, because it made me see, oh my God, this woman, I was going to say girlfriend, because it would give a different kind of, she ain't my girlfriend anymore. Woo! I learned some lessons. And those lessons have made me who I am today. They've helped in shaping who I am today. It was painful. It was brutal. She called me out. She went for the solar plexus. She went for the heart. Projected and said, you out there on the radio teaching spirituality. You something. You don't know shit. You just black. I was like, oh, she went to my calling. She is stabbing me. She went deep. Not the other deep. She went the painful deep. Oh, I was like, what did I do? Now, here's what I can say about that relationship, even though I said I wasn't going to talk about it. It's someone I've known many years ago, and we reconnected. She stumbled across upon my show, and she listened to a show, and we were talking about sexual abuse, and there was 4 of us as a guest. Well, I had them as a returning guest. There's 4 men, and we'll talk about it from a man's perspective, abuse and rape. And really, we were calling ourselves out. We were calling men out and sharing our perspective and how we see it. So this lady, this friend, listened, and she had similar experience. And of course, she said to me later on, yeah, it's one thing to talk to your girlfriends about it, and they kind of understand, but it's nothing to hear black men talk about it. And I said, I got it. So, we started talking, not romantically talking, just, she would send a text, I'll send a text. But eventually I was recognizing, this talking is trying to move to the next level. And at that point, I was single. Well, I was married and living single. At that point, I've separated from my former wife then, and trying to figure out, how do I do the divorce, blah, blah, blah. That's a whole different conversation. I'm telling you, I got stories. If I tell you my story, you'd be like, oh gosh, we can't take him. We don't want to hear his story anymore. But anyway, because at that time too, I wanted to be in a relationship. It's like, come on, I'm not in a relationship. Yes, I'm legally married, and my former wife, she's doing her thing. I mean, she's great. She's really one of my best friends. We still talk, not as regularly, but the time we talk regularly, it just comes. But anyway, so this other lady who I said gave me hell, she started to say things, and I can just tell she's attracted to me. And I was like, no. And so first thing for me was kind of like, yeah, she's a beautiful woman. Second thing is she's deeply religious. Well, deeply can convey certain, like she's really, really religious. Well, she is. But no, let me say it this way. She takes some of the things in the Bible and takes it literally and say some things that I felt, I could be wrong, that I felt like, it's not even integrated. It's just something that's in the Bible that she's saying. And I'm like, and we get into conversations like that. But the more we talk to them, like, no, we're going to be hell on one another, because the way I see the world and the way you see the world, it's just not going to happen. And, some of y'all might be mad at me, but y'all women know how to pour it on, and a brother has no defense. I was like, no, I don't want to be in a relationship. Nope. Well, come on now. She's attracted to you. You think she's beautiful? Now, this is me talking to myself, right? Talking myself into something that I say I don't want. This is how I create shit. Well, I mean, come on. She's attractive. She likes you. You can explore. Give yourself an opportunity to grow. This is an opportunity to transform. Oh, Lord, I did not know I was walking into some deep fire. I talked to myself. I said, okay, well, I guess. And then I'm giving y'all too much about this. But anyway, I'm going to say this. So we started talking, and one of the things, she said something one time, and she talks about kissing. She said, and people do this, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this. There are some people who would have sexual intercourse with another person, and that's fine, but they won't kiss the person. They're like, oh no, kissing is too intimate. What? How do you justify that? But anyway, we can create whatever we want to create, right? So the conversation, she was telling me about how she won't kiss some people, and I was like, wow, really? So I said, boy, you can be your own worst enemy. You can tempt yourself. They talk about Jesus dealing with the devil. The devil is the ego self, the part of you, your human self that's testing you. I messed around and said, would you kiss me? She said, yeah, I kiss you. I'm like, ooh, damn. She said, you're going to kiss me. I didn't want to get in this relationship, but there I am asking that kind of question. I was like, ooh, so if she going to, okay. So if I come over to your house, you kiss me. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Long story short, I talked myself into a relationship. I ain't telling you no more about it anymore. That's enough. But what I will say is, it was one of the toughest romantic relationship that I've ever been in, and that I will ever be in. And I mean that. I know it. But what it did, it brought me to a point where I need to tell the truth. When I'm in wherever, but romantic relationship, what I want, what I don't want, what is a deal breaker, what I prefer and what I don't, to be honest. And just because someone is attracted to me and I'm attracted to them, and knowing that we see life different. Homegirl was talking about, she believes God wants you when you're in a relationship to spend more time developing the relationship, and a man has to stop talking to his female friends. Have you met me? 99% of the people in my life are women. My clients, my friends. I can count men that I have in my life. What? And just focus on you? Oh, hell no, we ain't doing that. Nope. That was a problem. That was a big problem. But it's something that I created. Now, if I don't judge it, I can treat it like an experience to go to a gym so I can strengthen myself to be romantically strong. which is what I'm experiencing now, where I get to have a real honest conversation with my beloved and ask her sometimes, or have uncomfortable conversations and share things where I'm vulnerable, because I know it costs too much when I don't tell the truth. It costs too much. Now, it doesn't mean the minute you feel, well, you do it however you want to do it. What I do is there's sometimes I feel something like, sometimes I try to work it out myself. If it has to do with her, I bring it up. Or sometimes if it's not, if it's my stuff, I'll bring it up. But what that does, it's so crazy. Whether it's romantic or platonic or professional relationship, the strength of a relationship, is determined by how much heart you want to put into it. How much of your heart do you want to put into it? So whether you're protecting yourself, it's fine. Whether you're like, it's a work relationship, I ain't doing all that. No, that's crazy. No, it's fine. What I will always say to people, always listen to guidance. Use whatever you need to use. Use a tarot card if you need to. Any oracle cards. Use a pendulum. I use pendulum. My pendulums, I have 2. Thank God for them. They got me. I trust the guidance. And it's not the pendulum that's really telling me what to do. It is me telling me what to do. Because there's more of me. There's more of you in the non-physical realm. In the vibrational realm, you are more energy, you are more vibration than anything else. So the moment when I stop to get my pendulum and ask the question, I am tuning in, and the pendulum has no choice but to give me the answer, because I am listening to the answer from me. So the pendulum becomes an extension of me, giving me the answer that me is asking from me. Never fails. And in that space, as we develop this relationship with ourselves, you get to understand that your life purpose is to awaken. And you awaken by putting yourself first. By putting yourself first. Let me pause for a minute. I usually sweat, but not like this much, but I'm double sweating today. So Gina said, I'm starting next week, my class. I'm going through so much. It is time. Yeah, we are going through a lot. All of us, whether we know it or not. Whether it's unconscious. It's not even, I mean, it could feel unconscious, but we're all sensing this rumbling. The vibration of the planet is speeding up. And so it's not that the vibration of the planet is faster, speeding up, and we are not. We have a choice to not vibrate as rapid as the vibration of the planet based on the thoughts you're thinking, how you're looking at your world, from a place of fear or from a place of love. However, when you give yourself permission to join with what is happening in the universe, what's happening on the planet, what's happening around you, your body knows there's wisdom in your body wisdom. And you get to find your rhythm. Lately, I've been saying things are speeding up so much that the best way to keep up is to slow down. If you try and speed up to catch up, you're going to get left behind. If you try to speed up to catch up, you're going to get left behind. Because you're going to be running all over the place, feeling overwhelmed. Feeling like you can't keep up and judging yourself. Being mad and thinking you're doing it wrong. Now, there are some of us who needs to slow it down. Slow it down. And there's some of us who need to speed it up. And stop making excuses anymore. Stop saying, I don't know how. It's too hard. Stop saying it's too hard. Stop it. Don't listen to me, but I'm still going to say, don't stop it. But you don't have to listen to me. Because the minute you say it is too hard, you program your mind to not be open to the thing that you're praying for, calling forth, calling in. If you find yourself in your current reality is a place in a space that you don't want to be in, and you meet with someone, you have a session, you have a class, you have a coach, you have a minister, you have a friend, you have somebody that you met on the street, wherever, just telling you, sharing with you, giving tools, something you saw on IG and social media. You're like, yeah, I know I'm supposed to love myself. Yes, I know I need to forgive myself. Yes, I know I need to stop doing that, but it's too hard. Well, shut up and keep doing what you're doing. Pretty much. Shut up. Shut up is not a bad word. It's true. Shut up. Shut it up. Sometimes if you shut it up long enough, you can go deep down. Like you stop talking about what ain't working. You stop saying what's too hard. You just shut it up. And trustfully, you shut it up long enough to feel an impulse. Call your friend. Go to the grocery store. Go online. Go respond to an email. And the very thing that you need is right there. Because you shut it up long enough. And if you really embrace that practice, you will really grasp that it's so important to put yourself first. So there was a time we were taught. Let me read what's here before I go into that one. I'm programming my mind so I can remember what I was going to say. But I got back up, so I don't have to worry about that. Raven said the planet is going through a place in space with more light photons, which makes it seem that light has sped up. Yeah. And we get to feel it too, because we're connected to it. So really, I say whether we feel like it is or it actually is, you're feeling what you feel. You're feeling what you feel. Your feelings matter. Your feelings matter. And when you feel uncomfortable, when you feel sad, when you feel anxiety, when you feel anxious, when you feel nervous, when you feel fear, sometimes the best thing you can do is just let them be. Don't try and force it away. Don't try and affirm it away. Don't go into, oh, this is a negative emotion. Just declare, okay, I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling anxious. I got some fear things going on. I don't even know why. I just woke up and I'm feeling all of this. Oh, maybe it's because of what I need to do. It's the meeting that I have today. Oh, it's the bill that's due. Oh, it's me sleeping in bed and, nobody to be in bed with me. Okay. But I'm just going to let it be. I'm telling you what I know. Sometimes you got to reach out. But sometimes it ain't that deep. Just make room. Don't make up stories about, oh, I'm vibrating a lower vibration. I need to burn some sage, maybe. But don't go down the story. You're feeling what you're feeling. And if you just make space, you will be led to do what you need to do, want to do, desire to do. Whether it's sage or Palo Santo or go for a walk or not even meditate that morning. How about that? Catch yourself outside. You may be led to not meditate that morning. But I meditate every morning. Oh my God, my day won't be the same if I don't meditate. Who is saying that? Who is saying that? Is that the wise part of you? I know what's going on over here. Sometimes you will be guided, led by your soul, by your inner being, by God, by the divine, by source energy to do something that you normally don't do. And you will find yourself, you later discover that's the best thing you could have done. There is no rigidness to spiritual practice. There's discipline and there's intention. Whew. I want to read a daily thought that I wrote 2 years ago, and I stumbled upon it. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday actually. Surprise, surprise. As I was around the time I was preparing the show, and I remember looking at it, oh, this goes well with the show. So much so that I thought I was going to read it at the beginning, but clearly that wasn't supposed to be. Have your plan and make room for God. Have your plan and make room for the divine. God is, period. What is your understanding of God? Who and what is God to you? People have all kind of beliefs, all kind of thoughts about God, about what God is going to do and what God ain't going to do, my understanding of God, God ain't gonna do nothing or gonna do nothing. Yeah, I'm making up my own ebonic grammar. God ain't gonna do nothing. God done everything God gonna do. Won't he do it? He done it. You just opened up to what is already done. And the more we open to what God done and did, the more we recognize it is done. And so it is. So when you pray and say, and so it is, you're not necessarily commanding it to happen. You're reminding yourself that it is done. In the Bible, it said, before you ask, I will answer. There's another scripture that said, listen, before you were born, I knew I created you. You're a divine idea of God. I am a divine idea of God. So when I put myself first, I'm putting myself as an example, a divine idea of God who has talent, creative ideas. And all of my experiences, all the things that I've gone through is valuable and it's for my liberation. And when you embrace it, and even if you can't embrace all of yourself, and can accept the fact that you're not at a place to embrace all of yourself, that is the great awakening. It's so much love to say, oh, I want to accept that I am enough. I want to accept that I am talented. I want to accept that I'm creative. I want to love myself. I want to forgive. I want to be more spiritual. I want to have a spiritual practice. I want to be able to be part of the change. I want to be loving and kind to my husband, to my wife, to my children. I want to be a better mother. I want to be a better father. But I'm struggling. And I'm just going to accept that I am right where I'm at, where I am. I am where I am. I'll figure it out. Something. I will know what to do, when to do it. And whenever I feel like I didn't do what I thought I should have done, maybe it's because I wasn't supposed to do something. I've left today. I had an appointment, a viewing for an apartment, and I went on my GPS and I was supposed to leave the house at 3:15. I left later. So I ended up catching a later bus. And I just said, I trust it. I trust the process. That, it'll be what it needs to be. And if I'm late, I just let the agent know that I'm running late. She called me, asking me if I'm still coming. I said, I'm on my way. She said, okay, good. I just want to tell you that I'm coming, but I'm running late. Like, of course. GPS said leave at a certain time because it takes this amount of time to get there. And there's some of us like, well, I got to get on time. Especially as Black people, we've been in the diaspora. We've judged ourselves so much that we've allowed the narrative of Black people always late cause so much pain that we don't want to be late anymore. So we're hard on ourselves. So when Spirit is saying it's okay, You don't have to leave so early. And things happen. You start thinking, oh my God, now I'm late. No, you are on divine time. And even if I was late, even if the agent got there before me, even if the agent left, it's still good. Something good is going to come out of it. I'm either going to learn to leave home earlier next time, or I probably don't need to look at that apartment because I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm going to say yes. So here's the daily thoughts. Let me read the daily thoughts because we're getting ready to release the conversation. Thank you, those of you on IG. Lots of activity in there. And, well, people popping in more so than checking in. And then on Facebook and YouTube. So let me read this daily thought that I wrote many years ago. Over 2 years ago. Actually, well, yeah, over 2 years ago, because we write daily thoughts months in advance. For example, now I've written the one for September 2021, and I wrote it last. Oh, where is this? I started writing it a long time ago, but I sent it in first week of July. Anyway, 2-3 months before the time. I don't know why I felt like I needed to break it down like that, but I did. Somebody wants to know, do you write it on the month or do you write it before? What's your process? Well, I'm writing before things happen. Oh my God, I can tell you so much about that. I know for me, sometimes I read my own daily thought and it's exactly what I need to hear on that day. I have stories for days, stories for a day to tell you. All right, so the daily thought that I wrote for Friday, July 19th, 2019, the affirmation is, I say yes to my life. And this showed up as a memory on Facebook yesterday. I didn't plan that. After I Satima and I talked, and we said, okay, the title is going to be Being Me, the Great Awakening, because the Great Awakening is not so much what's going on out there in the world, it's what's going on in your world. And when you be you, put yourself first, it's an awakening that nobody can even measure. All right, I say yes to my life. Oh, this is beautiful. I wrote it and it's truth. I'm saying beautiful, not from an ego place, from the spiritual essence of it. Your life is calling you. It is calling you back to yourself. It is calling you to rise up. You have traversed the unknown, the ups and the downs of life. You almost gave up. You did not know what to do next. Now you're finding your footing. You're stronger. You're wiser. You are spiritually mature. Life is calling you. This is your time. This is your moment. Step up. Show up. Let it rip. I am willing. I am available. I say yes to the call. I am fully prepared for what is next. Whatever feels like fear is simply my body's way of acknowledging that the old is falling away. I shall not be moved by the appearances of illusions. I am rooted in the truth of who I am. I say yes. Thank you, understanding in me, through me, as me, around me, through the Christ within, and so it is. And every daily thoughts written by, every daily thoughts. We have several writers now. When we write daily thoughts, we put a scripture to it. So the scripture to this daily thought is, let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. In due season, you will receive your harvest. If you don't punk out, if you don't fall out, if you don't go, oh my God, I can't take this. The Bible, even though it's been used to beat people up in the head, to beat people up, period. Because that's what humans do. We want to talk about how we're better than somebody else. Our religion is the only one. It's the most important one, the way I see it. Everybody is right. So there's scriptures. Some of the scriptures, some of the scriptures in the Bible, I'm just like, Negro, please. And some of them are just like, woo-wee. Let me see if I have my Bible here. I'm gonna get up. Because I can. I'm being mean. So there's one around. I want to share this with you. Oh, here we go. It's in Genesis 3, right? And it's all about, this is the Aramaic version, but it still speaks, it's kind of similar to what the other Bibles say. But there's a chapter, Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm about to tell you guys this. So basically, this whole thing about Eve making Adam eat the apple. Hey, nobody knows. We still can't. I still look at it. I don't see no apple, but we just have to believe it's an apple because it's Nate. If an apple is not in the Bible, but the story keeps getting taught as if made him eat an apple, you may want to check the story. How are you telling me she made him eat an apple, but it's not here? And I'm not just talking about the Bible. I'm talking about any book that you read, any scientist that you listen to, any political leader that you listen to, any lover that you're with. Just because they're telling you how they see it doesn't mean it's your truth. Don't get me started. So anyway, Genesis chapter 3, ladies and gentlemen, y'all turn to get your Bible and turn to chapter 3 of Genesis. I need somebody to read it out. Y'all don't hear me. So chapter 3, verse 16. To the woman who said, I will greatly multiply. Okay, so basically, this is God saying to the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply. I can't read it because it's just funny. You know, like when a child's lying to you, and you just like, you try not to laugh, like this child's lying to me. Okay, anyway. And God said to the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply your pain. And what's this? I need my glasses. And your conception. In pain you shall bear forth children, and you shall be dependent on your husband, and he shall rule over you. I said, lies. I'm being me. This is my great awakening. I hope you're getting yours because I'm getting mine. Let's see, there's more. And to Adam he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife. I'm sorry, I find it funny. And have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In sorrow shall you eat the fruits of it all the days of your life. I don't want nothing to do with that kind of God. Nope, you can have it. It's funny. Now, some people may be offended. I get it. And if you believe it, you're right. I'm not saying what you believe is wrong. I just don't. Now, this is what I would say. Whoever was tuning in, listen to what God said to the first man and first woman whose children went to the far country and find a wife. Where'd they come from? Come on. Y'all ain't ready. Whoever listened to that guidance, inspiration download, and they wrote, was it the Old Testament? Is it called the Torah? I don't know. Whatever it is. Are they downloading what they were receiving as they were receiving it, or was it through their filter? Did they take their mindset of a man being more superior over a woman and mix that in with what they're receiving? I don't know. What I can say is, whatever is written from the filter of the writer and the understanding of the writer. on the culture, the tradition, the language. There are some things that I will hear people translate about Nigerian culture, particularly Yoruba culture. And I'm like, not quite. Yeah, being me, the Great Awakening. So there was a brother. I'm a member of Hillside International Truth Center. Hillside is a place. Dr. Barbara Lewis King created a space to remind everyone that they are loved, no matter how you're showing up, whatever your sexuality is, who you're sleeping with, who you're having sex with. You're loved. Some people have a different opinion about that. I don't give a flip. It doesn't matter. So there's a brother who's a same gender loving brother, and he had a baseball cap. And on it said Adodi. Now, he's an interesting brother. Every now and then I talk to him at Hillside, and sometimes like, I can't. You know, some people are just like, just too much. I can't. I don't know. What are we saying? Why are we having this conversation? What's the point? Ugh. So I think we were traveling. Yeah, I think we were going to Hillside. And I've been looking at that hat. I'm thinking, I don't know what that means. But if it's Yoruba, wow, that's some bold ass, no pun intended, bold ass shit. And I'm trying to clean that up after saying ass, right? And then I built up the courage to ask him, because I was like, ooh. Because Adodi in Nigeria basically means, it's more like a kind of like a curse word, but more of saying basically they're calling you, not so much calling you a homosexual, but more the act. They're defining you that you're an expert in anal sex. Let's put it like that. So so this brother had it on his head, wearing it. Now, he's a same gender loving brother. So I kind of was putting that together. So when I asked him, I said, what does it mean? He said, Adodi, it means being two-spirited. That you have the feminine and the masculine energy and it's blended. First thing in my head is like, hell no, it doesn't. I didn't say that out loud. I did the spiritual thing. Oh, okay. In Nigeria, it actually means something different. I didn't tell him. But it's like, oh, I ain't trying to bust his bubbles. Now I get it. I mean, first of all, we all have the masculine, feminine energy. Oh, goodness. I am really going on and on here. It's time to release the conversation. I'm in the zone. Yes, I know. Okay. So anyway, he or whatever group he's part of, yes, we'll go with that. We started a little late, so we're buying time. Like soccer, you know, if there's any delay, they add it on at the end. So they took a word, gave it their meaning. I have never heard in Nigeria Yoruba saying Adodi means two-spirited. No, it doesn't. In Nigeria, in Yoruba, Adodi is almost like calling a same gender loving man the F word. I ain't gonna say it because I won't be saying the N word either. So I'm gonna give the F word. The F word that people use in UK, like they call it a cigarette, which is a whole different conversation. They say, can I have a yeah. But who am I to say he's lying? He took that meaning, that word, and make it be something that works for him. How he came to that conclusion, I don't know. And the truth is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because words are made up anyway. Every word we speak was made up. The English language got all kind of stuff made up, German and all this mixed together. And then you get some of God is a German mean, the German word that means, okay, whatever. You know, it ain't that deep. Step into that place where there are no words, where there's vibration. So whatever you read, I didn't even talk about dirty thoughts, I guess, because it speaks for itself. But whatever you read from sacred books and you find that you're struggling with it and your life is not like that, maybe you need to be the space for that truth, for that story, for that way of being, to evolve, to be more. Raven said Eve was framed. Yeah, she was framed, and we all end up being framed. So we all being afraid of God, the God that's going to punish us. She wasn't the only one that's framed. The minute you frame one, you frame all. What's that quote by Martin Luther King? Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. It wasn't just Eve. The minute one person is framed, we're all framed. The minute one person is oppressed, we're all oppressed. It may not be happening to you right now, but it's coming. Wait long enough. Kwali, my dear sister, nice to see you. I don't know about you. I had a great time. Umbadi, nice to see you. She said, I really needed to hear this today. God knows what God is doing. Being you, it's the great awakening. Umbadi's in South Africa, and I know you're in the middle of all sorts now. And the best gift we give ourselves is the gift of self. Now, putting yourself first. If it's called selfish, so be it. We have been miseducated that be loving to another, be kind to another, be this to another. But what about myself? Oh, you learn on the job. You learn later. No, you can't give what you don't understand. You can't give what you don't know. You can't give what you don't know what it feels like. When you put yourself first and commit to learning, to growing, to being yourself, to shining your light, to doing the shadow work excitedly. Like shadow work means bringing all the things that you judge about yourself when it's the right time, bring them to the forefront. Call them out. Boy, I sound like a pastor right now, a preacher. Call them out. Bring it, expose it, tell it, share it. They burn. They burn. You feel it burning through you sometimes. You feel a little bit of nervousness. You might feel silly a little bit. You might feel silly talking to a fly. But expose it. And as you expose it, they burn and you shine. If you can't talk to a fly, talk to a dog, talk to a cat. You know, there's many levels of craziness. I'm on the level of talking to flies now. Sooner or later, I'm talking to roaches. The Tao of Roach. When the light shines, comes on, run! Run, Forrest, run! Oh, boy. Okay. I'm complete. I think the great awakening is for you to wake up to yourself. And it's okay to disagree with your teachers, with your guru. Don't disagree just because you want to disagree. You could do that. But what's your intent? And the disagreement, especially if it's just about, I see it differently. I see it differently. It feels different in my body. There's some things when I listen to people who say, though, they practice it far, that it was different in my body because my experience in Nigeria was different. I marinated in what people called evil about the spirituality of my people. So when there is a sacrifice, the story I grew up with is if someone is sick or dealing with some kind of illness, they go to the Babalawo, which is the shaman, and they will put all kind of stuff together, palm oil and all blah, 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 whatever. Google it. And they'll put it out in a corner of the street like 4 o'clock in the morning or maybe earlier. And the first person that sees the sacrifice, Ebo, E-B-O, sacrifice, will take on the disease. That's what I grew up with. So when I still see it, now when people have it, I did my Ebo last, there's still a part of them like, ooh, and I'm telling that child in me, calm down, it's okay. It's okay. You were miseducated. There are people in Nigeria who don't even want to have this conversation. They believe it's evil because they're Christians and Jesus is the only way. There's some people who don't want to have the conversation because Muhammad is the only way. There are people in the Western world don't want to talk about spirituality because I don't hear you talking about Jesus. That church that you be going to, y'all don't talk about Jesus. I don't know. I think y'all worshiping the devil. How many people are... Let me stop. Let me stop. Just because you say a name doesn't mean you believe in it. Ooh, let me stop. Ooh, let me stop. Yes. Dorothy was talking about the Bible. She said political agenda compromised and authored by King James. Truth. Now let's talk about how that looks like. Oh gosh. Okay. I'm gonna say this and we're wrapping this up. No, I don't want to do that because I need time to really flush this out. But what I will say is, whoever you're listening to, particularly the leaders, and I'm not for or against anything, but I'm talking about owning yourself, tapping into critical thinking and being able to look at things from an objective. You're not trying to reveal the lie. You're trying to amplify the truth. So I'm going to say it like this. In UK, when they say you can only be with 6 people, because right now we're in lockdown. And then there's a soccer match, there's a tennis match, and the place is packed with people side by side. And you haven't said the lockdown is over? But you said we can't go see family members because we're in a lockdown. But now we're having a game. Money's coming in. Oh, no. Oh, everybody pretend you didn't even see that. Now there's a Wembley variant or whatever kind of crap. Listen, you believe whatever you need to believe. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not even telling you to listen, to take what I'm saying as truth. I'm simply telling you, give yourself permission to choose what you accept as truth for your own health and well-being. That's the Great Awakening. How you choose to do it is the right way. Nobody can do it like you. Nobody had your experience. Nobody sees the world the way you do, even if they're your soulmate. Your twin flame, they don't see the world as you see it. And I'm ending this conversation right now. Let me look in the chat room. I'm done. I'm complete. Thank you. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for indulging me. Thank you for sharing. I just want you to know that you're not here by chance. You're not an accident. You matter. Don't take my word for it. Test it. You're here to change worlds. You're part of evolution. If you want to really show up and be part of it, say yes to your creative abilities. If you need help, support. If you want to take what you got and like, I really need help in integrating this, because if you don't integrate it, it's just mental masturbation. Come find me, lifecoachade.com. lifecoachade.com, adelove.co.co. Send me an email. I got you. We can do this. And where you are is where you are. There's nothing wrong. I heard Malidoma Somé, a shaman, said, it's not right and wrong. It is right and left. And the left is not better than the right. The right is not better than the left. Decolonize your mind and give yourself the gift of life. Take chances. Be you. Wake up. Don't wait for, the age of Aquarius. I thought I was wrapping up. The age of Aquarius is coming. Oh, we're in it. Now it started early. It doesn't matter. What matters is, what age are you in? Are you in the age where you're making room for the things that you're grieving, that cause you pain, and telling the truth about it? When we do that, we will be caring to the world. We'll be caring to nature. We'll be caring to nature. We'll care about the things we're using, plastic, whatever. We don't have to beat people on the head about it. We'll think of other beings in the ocean. But if you don't care about yourself, you don't think you matter, you ain't gonna think other people matter. Or forget fishies and animals. But you know what? Whether we stay ignorant or embrace the truth, life is going to continue to life. Nature is going to continue to nature. And earth will continue to earth. And it will be whatever needs to be after we've gone. What if you've been here before and this is just your recycled version? And you're like, damn, and this is how far I've come? Well, guess what? There's more recycling coming. Wait for it. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. Oh. Thank you, Satima. Thank you, Marian. Thank you, Dorothy, Pam, New Jace, Umbadi, Gina, and all the others on IG that I what's that? Plan B Fitness. I like that. Plan B Fitness. What's Plan B Fitness? Like, fuck it. I ain't working out anymore. I'm going to just sit right here, move my legs. Oh, boy. Life is good. It's getting better. I promise you. This is a good time to do what you've always wanted to do. You're not too young. You're not too old. You're not too fat. You're not too skinny. And if you're all the twos, it's fine. You can still do the things you want to do while you're doing this and doing that. God just needs an outlet. Love is looking for space and a place to reveal itself. Will you be the one? I want to quickly remind you, next week, July 24th and July 25th, I am co-facilitating what we call an interplay intensive. And we're using some of the tools from My Grandmother's Hands by Resma Menakem. The theme of this intensive, rather than an intensive, is intensive. Tending the soil. Can you flash it back up again, please? And it's got tending the soil, embodying our wholeness. Embodying our wholeness, our experiences, our fears, our doubts, our achievements, our successes, our ancestors, those who came before us, embodying all of it, calling it forth and honoring it. It's for BIPOC community, Black, Indigenous, people of color. We join together to heal together. Nope, white people are not allowed right now because we need to heal so we can embrace the wholeness of it all. Because sometimes when things like this happen, white folks talking about, why can't white people be part of it? Aren't you doing the same thing that you say you don't want to see happen? Well, you know why? Black people need to gather together. BIPOC people need to gather together without white people. Because even in your innocence, you might say something that's going to cause more harm. There's a lot of harm that's been done, and I cannot end this show. I don't know why, but there's a lot of harm that's been done. And people need to gather together to honor their histories, their ancestry, their own experience. When someone that's born in a country is told to go back to somewhere they don't even know. Oh, there's stories I can tell you. I'm sure you got yours too. Once again, I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you, and I thank God for you. Dorothy said, the Lucifer, Jesus' brother. Thank you all for your contribution. I'm wrapping this up. I'm wrapping this out. I'm releasing it. I think that's it. Anything else I need to say? Because this show's got the best of me. And I don't know why this thing is changed. If I put my hands up like this, it looks bright, but not, then I look like, ooh, I'm coming from the dark. Shadow self, the light, and the dark. Those of you on IG don't see what I'm doing. Don't worry. I'm just having fun, man. I'm being me. This is a great awakening. When you be you, you can do whatever the flip you want to do. And if people don't like it, like, oh, my bad. But no, not so. And you hear guidance. It's not anarchy. You're listening Okay. All right. Yes. What am I doing? I don't know. I'm so high right now. I have no idea. Okay. I see it. I'm out. This is it. I'm done. I feel high. I don't know what's going on.
Be who you are. Let your light shine with so much more.